Ubizo Lungibize engalweni Ngiyokhalela bani nayi iphimbo lami liphindaphinde entabeni Ngithi inyawo zami ngibeleze kulomhlaba nemsini Ngifunana noxolo engalweni
Psychological freedom must come before political freedom. Sawubona to you, sawubona to yours. From one great spirit to another. Igama lami uThulani wakwamalevu. Welcome to Ubizo Daily. Today we begin yet again a dangerous conversation. Dangerous to systems built on your silence, dangerous to institutions built on your confusion, and dangerous to identities built on your dependency. Today we speak about Black consciousness, not as a slogan, not as fashion, not as social media performance either, but as a revolutionary psychological framework given to us by Ubaba, Steve Biko. And although many have quoted him over the years, they did so without fully understanding what he was trying to save us from. You see, Ubaba Steve Biko taught something terrifyingly honest. He said, the most potent weapon in the hands of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. And may we pause there for a sec. He didn't say guns, he did not say laws, he did not say prisons. He said the mind, because if someone controls how you see yourself, great spirit, they don't need chains. You get to become your own prison guard. You begin to doubt your own intelligence, your beauty, your language, your spirituality, your leadership, your land rights, your possibility, and eventually you begin to polish your own greatness. And across Africa, many nations have achieved flags, anthems, constitutions, political independence. But what happened after that? Many to date still worship European systems, European beauty standards, European educational validation, European economic frameworks, European spiritual approval. The colonizer may have physically left many spaces, but psychologically, they remained. And this is what Ubabu Steve Biko was warning us about. Freedom cannot be merely legal, it must be psychological. Let's speak about self-hatred as colonial infrastructure. Colonial systems were never random. They needed Africans to distrust themselves, to mock their own names, to abandon their languages, to fear their own spirituality, to laugh at their own traditions, to call themselves backward. And once self-hatred becomes normalized, control becomes easier because people disconnected from themselves become easy to manipulate. And some of our communities still carry this inherited shame that was manufactured generations ago. Let's talk about Black consciousness and how it was never about hate. This must be said clearly. Black consciousness was never really about hating white people. It was about ending Black psychological dependence. It was about restoring dignity, restoring self-definition, restoring internal authority. It was about a Black person being able to stand in the world and say, I do not need your permission. I do not need your permission. I do not need your permission to recognize my own humanity. And that is revolutionary. That is dangerous to systems that are oppressive, because psychologically free people are difficult to control. Let's speak about the new colonization. Today, colonization has evolved. It wears more than clothing. Algorithms, entertainment, consumerism, social media validation, imported identities, digital distractions. You may no longer be physically colonized, but many are mentally outsourced, still asking, what does the West think? What will they approve? What trends must I follow? And every generation must confront its own version of colonization. And just before we close, let's speak about the return of psychological sovereignty. So what does Black consciousness require of us now? It requires that you study your history, that you protect your language, that you build your own institutions, that you heal your internalized inferiority, that you question everything you were taught about your worth, and most importantly, that you learn to see African humanity through African eyes. Kebulen, sons and daughters of the soil, because freedom begins the day you stop needing systems that oppressed you to validate you. So today, ask yourself, who taught you who you are, and were they invested in your liberation or your dependence, because until the Alkebulan African mind is fully liberated, many external victories will remain incomplete. And as Steve Biko understood deeply, the revolution begins in the mind first. Until next time, okuhle, umusa, kanye nokukhanya ekuhambeni kwakho. Light, mercy, and blessings on your path. Ubizo Daily. The call continues.